And we are back, episode 48 of the Burg Boys podcast. My name is Mike Lennon. I am with Chris Rosholt out in Colorado, Jeremy Greenwood holding down the Reesburg Fort, and Matt Lennon out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. Weekend recaps. We're going to start with the man in Reesburg. Jeremy, how was the weekend?
Let's go. Not too bad, man. We as I mentioned last episode, had I guess the Badger Challenge for hockey yesterday in Wanakee. Had kind of an interesting game. You know, the past just dealing with a lot of illness and a lot of players missing. So navigating kind of that and what that looks like. Actually. Shout out, well, first of all, shout out to our JV goalie who had just ended a 6-game shutout spree, but now has mono, so he's out for like a half a month, so he's going to miss a lot of games. And we don't have another goalie besides Cooper, so well, you know, we'll throw somebody in that and kind of deal with that as it goes. We already did that once this year, but yeah, I mean, we played the Forest. Won 9-2, kind of had a unique situation, which I mentioned to you guys, but it's the first time I ever seen the goalie go in the penalty box. And kind of the situation, I guess, just to sum it up. It was pretty early in the first, maybe 5 minutes in, and we had scored a goal, and I think he thought there was interference in the crease, but their guy had pushed our guy in the crease, which kind of negates it. And he was very verbal about it towards the official. The official warned him, said originally had given, just a 2-minute misconduct or whatever you call it, unsportsmanlike misconduct. And then he did, one of these or whatever, like a, kind of like in basketball. I don't know what you'd call it in hockey, but he got 10 minutes. He had to go sit in the box, and the JV goalie, their backup, came in and, but yeah, kind of an interesting circumstance. But yeah, that's really, my weekend, and just got done watching a really good football game, which I think we'll talk about more here as well.
Absolutely. Matt, how was the weekend?
Weekend was
other than being pissed off at me last night, but
well, we don't even need to dive into that.
Yeah, what was that about?
Mike was salty because how he got paid, but we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Yeah, Friday night, didn't do much. Just went out to eat. Little Mexican for me and Sarah. Our usual spot. It's close. I think I don't know if we all went when you guys were up here once. Senor Villa. Pretty good. Pretty good spot. Then Saturday we actually one of our family friends bought some land kind of outside Sparta in the Melrose Mindoro area. For those people that know where that is, nice piece of land. We kind of went hiking a little bit, spent a couple hours out there, and then our plan was actually to do like a mini bar crawl back, but we actually found this really nice supper club, which was with a bar attached to it out in the middle of literally nowhere. It was called the bar was called the Doghouse, and the supper club was called the Evergreen. And they have probably only 16 tables in there. And they said they are reserved every weekend before they even open. Yeah. And we were like, what the heck? I've never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. So we actually...
Is it like the type of place where you gotta have a suit and tie type deal, or what?
I don't think so. No? It didn't seem like it. So we just hung out actually at the bar, and they built it this summer. Kind of learned about that, and the cook was actually over there drinking because they didn't open till 4. Yeah. We were there at like 3, and so he was bringing us like he brought us
just sipping on some drinks before he.
Yeah, and so he brought us these cheese curds, which were unbelievable, free. Just came out of nowhere.
Cheese curds?
Yeah. He's like, here you go, try these. Unreal.
Whoa.
And then he brought us
sign me up.
He brought us something else, and we were like, man, we should just stay here. We'll eat for free all night.
Yeah.
We actually ended up leaving. We went back to the person's land's house. he cooked some chili, and then we watched the night games, and then today just kind of watched football. That's about it.
Some chili. Nice.
Yeah.
Rosh, how was the weekend?
Yeah, it was good.
Sad times.
Yeah, I was
Sad
just telling
times.
these guys it was a sad day today at the Roshold house.
Yeah.
I took down my outside Christmas decorations and Christmas lights. We haven't had them on for I think a couple days. Well, it was right before we left to go back. So on the 26th, when we left to go back to Wisconsin, I unplugged the lights. So they haven't been turned on this whole time, but now I just finally officially took them down. So that was a sad day, packing all that stuff away, but excited to add to the collection next year already. So got to go to Home Depot and get those discounted Christmas decors right now. But no, other than that, pretty relaxing weekend. It's been getting kind of crazy teaching, cases, sicknesses, whether whether you got COVID or the flu or something else. I mean, there's just so much stuff going around right now that's just, it's difficult. One, trying to stay healthy. Two, trying to navigate, the kids that are supposed to be there, the kids that are not, the kids that you got to give stuff to online, the stuff in person, so just kind of navigating all that stuff. But we started a middle school weightlifting camp, and so that was fun to see. I haven't gotten to coach or teach middle schoolers since I was in Stoughton, and so I actually love that age. So it was fun to see those kids and get to meet them and just see their energy to learn something new and their excitement to lift. So that was fun. And then I actually have off tomorrow, so that's nice. A little 3-day weekend. So it's my brother-in-law's birthday tomorrow, so we're going. It's going to be a balmy 58 degrees tomorrow, so we're actually going to Topgolf for his birthday.
Damn.
But it's pretty sweet because Cash still has school, so I got to take him to school for the first time. So that'll be fun, dropping him off at school and seeing him interact with some of the friends he always talks about. So looking forward to that. But otherwise, just kind of relaxing. I think I did yesterday. I was home almost the entire day other than going to the gym, and I think I ended with 7 loads of laundry that I did.
Wow.
Which for those of you that know me, and I hope my mom's watching because she'll laugh, I'm not a big laundry doer. I'm a laundry producer. I'm very good at producing laundry, but not very good at doing it. And so for me, just to do 1 or 2 loads is a big deal. But I think I got 7 done yesterday, so I was pretty proud of myself. But part of it was because I had nothing to wear, so it's kind of a necessity. But that was my weekend. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, we pretty fun weekend. We had a hockey game. We played Gustavus Adolphus College on Friday. We tied. Unfortunately, we were up 2-1 with about, well, to be exact, it was 5.6 seconds left when they tied it up 2-2. And overtime now is high school hockey 3v3, Jeremy, or is it still just 5-on-5?
5v5, and actually, yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I thought I'd be a fan of 3-on-3 hockey, like as a coach, I guess. Like as a player, you probably love it, but like,
or as a fan, you probably love it.
Exactly. I'm just not a big fan of it for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And we ended up tying. Like nobody's. Yeah. Like we ended up tying.
It's high school hockey.
And yes, somebody's echoing there, but yeah, no, I'm just not a big fan of it. But anyways, we tied Friday. Yesterday was a full deep clean at the house, at the Lennon house yesterday. So we spent like probably 6 hours cleaning the house, like just a deep clean. Yeah. Went out to a Mexican joint yesterday, last night. Watched some football today. Played with the kids, kind of just hung out. So pretty low key weekend.
Let me ask you guys this then, since what's your guys' go-to Mexican? We may have asked this question before, but like, do you guys change it up when you go out for Mexican, or do you guys kind of got like this go-to
for me?
Dish?
Go-to.
Yeah.
I mix it up from time to time. Last night I had a chicken burrito fajita.
Okay, so explain that to me.
It was just a burrito. It's like a chicken burrito, pretty much.
Yeah.
They just make it all these funny names, but
yeah. What about
you got to go. A vet move is you got to go with the cheese dip with your chips.
Oh, for sure.
Got to get the cheese dip.
You get a margarita too, blended.
No, we had Bud Light on tap last night.
Rash, what about you?
You got to go to draft beer if you're going out.
Yeah, we there's a bunch around us actually, but we've kind of honed in on one. We actually went there today for lunch, and I get
Mexicans all around
I get 2 chicken enchiladas, but then I get it covered in cheese sauce. So it's basically, for them, it's at this place, mariachis. It's basically like a queso. So there's like little tiny chopped up jalapenos in it and stuff. It's amazing. So that's my go-to. But what this place is different because I've never seen a place give salsa and refried beans with your chips. Ooh. Usually it's just the salsa, or you have to like ask for the extra. But they give you a bowl of salsa and refried beans, and it's free. It's like as much as you can eat. It's so funny over there.
Jeremy, what's your go-to?
You just over there nibbling on bowls of refried beans or what?
No, I'm not a big bean guy. I'm a salsa guy myself. Salsa and cheese dip.
I like the fajitas. You just put them. You make your own little tacos basically with veggies and meat. Like, what could go wrong?
Is that the one that comes out sizzling all the time?
It's gotta be.
Yeah. Arroz con pollo.
What's that mean? What?
It's just another. It's kind of like what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the matchups at NFL. We had the Bengals victorious last night. I guess overall thoughts so far. There's obviously a game getting ready to rip right now. So overall thoughts, I guess, thus far, fellas.
Well, I mean, I think for the most part, we're not too surprised with the 49ers. I think we're like, 49ers. They play kind of everybody close for the most part. I'm surprised that the Patriots got spanked like they did. I'm not surprised about the Bengals.
I would agree with that. 2 close games, 2 blowouts. I guess we'll see what kind of happens here. Kind of seems like that. I don't remember last year, but I feel like the 7 seed kind of gets blown out every year. I could be wrong though. But like Philly today just got throttled. We'll see if the Steelers can do something, but no surprises for me so far. I kind of figured that Cincy game would be kind of tight. I guess I will say, that Bills Pats game was very, very surprising.
Okay, so right now, how it's set up, so Tennessee will be playing. AFC side is set. No, it's not set yet.
No, it's not set yet.
No, Pittsburgh is programming it.
Yeah.
So both sides. No, the NFC is set. So obviously the Packers are playing the 49ers. The Bucks will play the winner of the Rams and the Cardinals, who tomorrow's going to be a good game too. Did we talk about this last week? What do you guys think about them playing Monday night? More money for.
I don't like it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, right? I don't really like it, but it seems like it's probably got to be. It's got to be something with ESPN getting the rights to a game, but you'd think you would be able to do that on like a Saturday or Sunday, but I don't know.
I think it just has something to do with the holiday, Martin Luther King Day, maybe people having off of work or maybe other shows not being on because it's a holiday, and so it opened up a prime time spot, or I don't really know. I liked it when they just did, 2-game Saturday, 2-game Sunday. Yep. I like that more, but I'm assuming it's got to be a ratings ploy or a money grab of some sort.
So before we get into some other stuff here, let's dive. We're going to talk about the matchup with the 49ers. How do you guys feel? We won't go score predictions yet. We're going to predict the score at the end of the show.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about this matchup?
I'm a little nervous about it. Part of me is nervous, but part of me, if you look back at the game we played them, it's week 3. We ended up needing a game-winning field goal. But if you actually look at the stats of that game, we just took our foot off the gas. I think at one point we were up 14 rip for sure, maybe like 24-14 in the fourth or something like that. But to me, it comes down to 2 things. Obviously, Rodgers will put up points no matter what. We need to stop Samuel, obviously.
Good luck with that.
and Kittle. I feel like if you look at a couple weeks ago, Mark Andrews tore us apart in the tight end spot, and Kittle is very capable of doing the same thing. I saw Nick Bosa went out today, so who knows if he'll play next week. He's obviously a big piece to the defense, and I think Fred Warner was hurt, but he looked like maybe he would. Okay.
It's his ankle. He was kind of jumping around, so
Yeah.
my guess is he'll play, but he won't be 100%.
Exactly. And so I think honestly, I think it all depends on our defense next week, and it will obviously help, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Is it Darius potentially being out there, Jair potentially being out there? So we'll see.
Well, and I think the biggest thing too with, and I want to hear from Rosh and Jeremy on this, what you guys think too, but I think the biggest thing of getting those guys back healthy is they're gonna have to game plan now for those guys in.
Yeah.
So Darius, obviously, he's probably not going to play every single snap, but he's probably going to get some third down, playing time. Bakhtiari, it seems like he's potentially. It looks like he's probably going to be back for the whole game. And then who did we just pick back?
Merciless.
Merciless is possibly back
yeah.
too, which would be incredible. So.
Yeah.
I think that's something that that they're going to have to game plan. Just not sure, knowing how much time they're actually going to get in, but they're going to have to game plan for that. So, Rosh, what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, you guys made all the points that I think about it. I think the two things that scare me, when I think of the 49ers, it's running the football. Right, they got that big bruising offensive line. It doesn't matter who their running back is. I mean, let's be real. Mitchell's in there; he runs for 100. Whoever Mostert was in there for one game, he runs for a bunch. Wilson, he run. I mean, it doesn't matter. Their offensive line and run game is good, and I think Samuel obviously is a dynamic player. But when I watched that game tonight, because I think I've watched the 49ers maybe once in the last 2 years. But watching the game tonight, it just reminds you of how creative Shanahan is offensively. And so I think it's a big challenge for our defense. I think they're beatable. I think we're going to win. I'm not overly worried about them. But the two things I am is them running the football, especially on first downs, and putting themselves in like a 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 3 situation, because then Shanahan has his whole arsenal to throw at us, So I think keeping them behind the sticks, especially on 1st and 2nd down, and putting them in the 3rd and 11s and the 3rd and 9s, I think that's going to be beneficial, because then they truly can match up on Kittle, Samuel, and kind of lock it down. I think our health coming back is going to be a huge factor, because it seems like they're trending in the wrong direction injury-wise. We're trending in the right direction. I just obviously worry about rust and game speed, because those guys haven't been in full action for an entire game. And so I worry about that a little bit. But since the other guys have been playing all season, it's not like they don't have good backups. You know what I'm saying? Like, the backups have gotten us to this point. So those dudes are good. Offensively, I'm not worried. I wouldn't be surprised if we start a little slow with the bye week, but that'll pick up quickly. I have a gut feeling after Mike, I think Mike brought it up, maybe, or Mike or Matt, but I have a strong gut feeling that Rodgers retires if we win the Super Bowl. So I think he's going to be guns a-blazing. I think he's going all out. I think you're going to see the best Rodgers the next 3 games that we've seen, because I think he's just so sick of everything, so sick of the media, and he don't need it anymore. So that's just my hot take. But as far as the game, I think being in Lambeau is huge.
Big time.
I think us being healthy is huge. I think us having 2 stud running backs is huge. I think we're in a really good spot. I'm feeling confident, but not overly confident.
Here's a question for you, for the group. Has there been a time where Rodgers in the playoffs didn't bring it?
I'd have to look.
Yeah,
I seriously don't think there was any time that he didn't bring it in playoffs. We've obviously been let down. Like, our defense.
There's been a lot of seasons of playoffs. So
special teams in Seattle. He's gonna have to
You know, it's
He's obviously
funny.
gonna have
You
to
know,
be
it's
the
funny
guy.
though, since I know we have Bears and Vikings fans listening. It's really funny that we're having a debate about when the last time Rodgers played bad in the postseason was,
Yeah.
and they can count on one hand how many times they've been in the postseason.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think
You
of the
know,
matchup coming up here?
I guess I'm not like Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I'm not
Yeah.
worried about Jimmy Garoppolo. Like he's kind of been that Alex Smith-ish, just kind of game manager with a few more turnovers than Alex Smith. And like my brother said, said it quite well earlier. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo looks really good until boom, one play he makes a boneheaded throw.
Yeah. Seriously.
You know, like you're up 2 scores in the Dallas game, and then you try and force a ball like that. Like, I don't know. I'm not too worried about Jimmy Garoppolo. I do think that their running back Elijah Mitchell's been pretty good this year. I spent $54 on him in free agency in our fantasy league.
$54.
And it worked out okay for me. It did. I took quite a bit of grief for that though. So, but I mean, you know, they play everybody tough. They have, and I imagine I think it'll be a feeling out game the first quarter before we get going, like you guys have said. And but yeah, there's no reason we should lose to them.
No.
So Rosh made a good kind of point to our next topic here. Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator for the Packers, getting a lot of buzz. I don't think there's one opening that he doesn't have an interview for. I could be wrong. Does he not have?
Maybe
I think he
Miami.
has Well, yeah, Miami. So he's got. I know he's already interviewed with Jacksonville. The Vikings reached out. Bears. Did he already do his interview with them?
Yep. And
Denver. I thought there was.
So that leaves Houston. He hasn't. And,
yeah.
Miami.
But anyways, so I mean, obviously there's him and a couple other guys are getting a lot of buzz for obviously being the next coach. Where do you guys? What's one team you do not want him to go to?
For me, I would say probably the Vikings.
Okay.
Just because I think that, I don't think the Vikings are that far off, honestly. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, Delvin Cook, arguably 2 players that are probably top 5 in their position group.
They have a really young stud tight end. He was just hurt a bunch this year.
And I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got a pretty young offensive line. Mm-hmm. I just think that their defense was just the shaky part. And maybe, I think it depends. A lot of these positions, it depends on your coordinators, who they're going to hire. I mean, yeah, head coach is huge, but I think Hackett can obviously go into a place and, stir up that offense a little bit, but I don't want to see him in Minnesota.
Well, let me. I don't want to see him in Minnesota, Chicago. Obviously, like we don't want to see him there. But I do want him to go to a place where I can cheer for him.
Yeah, agreed.
And like, okay, if he wins here, I'll be happy for him. Kind of like that way with certain quarterbacks too.
We don't need to talk about that, Jay Cree.
Literally,
just he seems like such a great guy, though. Like everybody, like, just the way like Rodgers talks about him, and like,
here's my question though.
To a point too.
My question is okay. So he's got these interviews with Miami, Jacksonville, Houston, and then it's ultimately they say, well, we've requested an interview. Why don't we just say no to the Bears or Vikings? And then also, I'm guessing it's obviously like a professional thing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
LaFleur. So it's LaFleur's call, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I don't have it in front of me. He was where's his brother coaching right now? LA?
Jets offensive coordinator.
Where was he last year?
LA.
So they what's his name?
Or no, he was in San Fran.
San Fran, yeah, he was with Shanahan.
So Shanahan denied to have his brother in for an interview, and LaFleur said that he'll never do that ever to anybody. He'll never
And that's
if somebody wants to talk to you, he's like obviously.
Yeah. Well, you're hurting that person and you're hurting that career because you want them to stay with you, which is it's selfish. I mean, obviously, I could see both sides of it. I could see you wanting to keep him because you want to win, but at the same time, you should be wanting to support him and his goals. And if that's to be a head coach, then you let him go. And that
I get
that seems like LaFleur. LaFleur seems like he would promote his coaches.
I get that, but let's okay. Obviously, if he's getting interviews from 5, 6, 7 teams, we turn him down for these 2 teams. There's a good chance he's going to get a job eventually, right?
Well, maybe by him going to the Vikings, since we know him, we know how to stop him.
Maybe.
Or
the opposite. I'm just throwing it out there. Like I hear you. Don't understand how the system works, and I do agree, Mike, that I think you're right. It's just a professional. Like, hey, I don't want to hold you back, but at the same time, like, we want to keep you, right? I mean, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, well, it's going to be. I don't think that. Obviously, Matt made a good point this week that hopefully he's concentrating on obviously the game
exactly.
starting now. Yeah.
But
exactly.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But
kind
of moving along here. Next topic: BCS National Championship took place on Monday. Georgia Bulldogs. What we were texting about this week. So, do you want Matt? Can you explain people like we're talking about expanding the playoffs, but can you kind of explain to us what you were trying to tell us this week?
So right now, the past couple of weeks, college football, presidents for each conference have having meetings about expansion to happen either 2023 and 2024. Right now, which I was thrown off. I thought the SEC would be against expansion, but they're actually for it. But there's certain parts right now. So the plan that they put down for them to vote on was a 12-team playoff, which it's confirmed that the ACC is against that, and some are saying the Big Ten is also against that. And so it's between right now they can't figure out between a 12-team and an 8-team playoff. If they went to an 8-team, then there's parts of it that certain conferences don't like. Like SEC does not want automatic qualifiers for championships, whereas the Big Ten and the ACC do. Right now, it's because supposedly they need 100% unanimous votes, and right now,
which is dumb. I don't know why would you need 100% on this.
Agreed. And so it sounds like the ACC is really against it, because the commissioner of the ACC came out and said that he wants NLI. That's what it's called, right? He wants that figured out before they do this.
Why don't we just forget about it?
So real quick, Matt, what I was hearing, and this is actually a good point. So obviously, we talked about it last week was the 1-4 matchup, and obviously a Alabama coached by Nick Saban. You gave him 4 weeks to prepare for a Cincinnati that more times than not they're going to win. Now, if you change this up and you give them 1 week to prepare for a Cincinnati, it could be a closer game. It could be possibly a win for a school like Cincinnati. Obviously, a much closer game and stuff like that.
So the cool thing was that I thought was actually pretty cool that the plan that they gave out them for the initial plan that they gave them to vote for this 12-team playoff was the first seed and second seed got a bye. So that leaves you 3 versus 12, blah, 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 blah. Well, that higher seed, the game would actually be on campus, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the second round and third round would be your bowl games, your Rose Bowl, your, whatever. And that's a whole nother situation that they can't agree on, is because then these bowls would be losing a bunch of money. But it's right now they said that the closest would be probably 2025 now. I could go in some other things too. Like right now, the Rose Bowl gets, a Big Ten, Pac-12. Well, they would get rid of the role. They have some big contract with the Big Ten and Pac-12. Well, then that would screw up. So they'd have to figure that out. It just seems like it's a whole bunch of steps right now.
But the thing is like, and we all know, like, I probably shouldn't say this because I am part of the NCAA, but the NCAA, it's about money.
Yeah, and that would be money.
This is a way to make more money and more, you know.
Yep. Well, and here's an interesting take on the playoffs that I haven't seen discussed, but me having a football, like I follow a ton of football people on Twitter, and of course during this bowl season is when you get a ton of controversy, no matter what way you sit on the fence of, do I play in the bowl game or do I prepare for the draft?
Yeah.
Well, now you extend playoffs. Now what happens to those guys?
Yeah.
You know, do they have more incentive to play for their team, or do they still not? You know what I'm saying? But like that just adds, you know, a whole new dynamic to the whole situation with that too. You know, with guys sitting out or guys playing or, you know, whatever with that too. So just another thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, and we've talked about this before. So D3, and Ross, you can quote me if I'm wrong. Isn't it a 32 team field or 16?
Well, every conference gets every conference champion gets in, and then they do at-large bids. And so the WIAC usually almost always gets two in. WIAC, whatever. They almost always get two in because it's the toughest conference. And, you know, like this year, lacrosse was the at-large because Whitewater won it. Nobody gets a bye. So whatever, is that 32? Is that, I forget. I think it's 32.
That sounds right.
But there's no buys. You get home field advantage all the way through until the national championship. So, and it's always the highest seed gets the home field advantage. And that's this year something got goofed up, but
yeah,
that's the same thing with D2 and even FCS, because I know North Dakota State, who's one of the obviously the top FCS programs,
and college basketball and college baseball and hockey. College softball and hockey and the NFL and the MLB and the NBA. I mean, everyone's doing it, but Division I FBS football.
Yeah,
you know, let's take all the things that you got to think about real hard about out of the equation, like the politics, the sponsoring, the potential money, what the coaches want. You know, what do the fans want, and like what do we want? You know, like
essentially it's the players too. You can't tell me that if you were, you know, say like a Wisconsin, like they wouldn't want 12 teams if you're a player at Wisconsin.
Right. So I don't know. It just sounds like it'd be more fun to have like I mean, you know how much money March Madness generates from?
Man.
Yeah, those guys worrying about sponsorships and losing their sponsorship money. It's like, put a commercial in during one of those games, and you'll make about half of it back right there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. The excitement that March Madness brings, the upsets, the Cinderella stories. Now, is there going to be as many Cinderella stories in football? Probably not.
Exactly.
But look at like, I mean, Alabama lost during the regular season, right? You know, Georgia lost during the regular season. Now, granted, it was to Alabama. But I remember, who was it? Auburn. It was like 10-7 against Alabama. You know, so like
they should have beat them.
Any given week, a team could be beat, and I think that would bring excitement, like Jay Green's saying, to doing a college playoffs. Is you just never know. You know, who would be your Cinderella story this year? You know, Coastal Carolina came out of nowhere. You know, it could be anything like that. You know, imagine if Deion Sanders' team is rocking in the playoffs. You know, or I think it'd be tons of excitement if they could, you know, put all their not differences, but all their politics and sponsorships and contracts, put all that aside and just do it and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sticking on to college, Matt, you want to give a rundown of some Wisconsin athletics?
So men's basketball ranked
Big
13th.
Dub.
That obviously will jump up tomorrow. They beat number 16 Ohio State 78-68. Obviously revenged the loss to them earlier in the year. Tyler Wall and Brad Davidson were the big guys that game. And I think the promising thing that I've kind of been following on Twitter and whatnot is Davis, I think, was like 4 for 19. So obviously he did not have a great game. But I think it kind of showed now the depth that Wisconsin has if he doesn't take over this game.
Yeah.
Which is huge. I think that obviously the team and the fans needed that to see how good we actually were. Upcoming, they play at Northwestern Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then a really big one Friday night, who I believe was the Big Ten preseason favorite. We play number 10 Michigan State at the Kohl Center Friday night at 8 o'clock. Men's hockey won 5-2 Friday night versus Michigan State, and then completed the sweep Saturday. They won 3-2.
Yeah, Tony.
That is their second sweep of the year. Their first one was against Army. Upcoming, they play Friday and Saturday at Penn State. Women's hockey, still ranked number 1. I think those rankings come out on Mondays too. Their series versus St. Thomas was actually called off due to COVID. And then they have a huge series this weekend. Hopefully not called off, but Friday and Saturday at Minnesota. And last but not least, the women's basketball team got their first conference win today versus Rutgers, 49-45.
Very nice.
It is their first road victory since early 2020.
Wow.
Road conference victory.
Real quick here, Mike, before you go on, Craig asked 2 interesting questions that I think we got to talk about.
Yeah, so I'm going to touch, since we just talked about, so his first question was, what are your thoughts on shortening regular season? We're talking college football, and start playoffs in December. Non-conference layups could go away. And I wanted to talk about, I've heard this on, or maybe saw it on Twitter, but in my opinion, this would actually give, like a Wisconsin or, any big school really, maybe if they're, maybe they don't want to play Alabama or one of these big teams because they might fear that they're going to lose. Well, if you extend it to 12 teams, that loss isn't going to hurt you. Like, they're going to be maybe more willing to go out and play these big time matchups, or, you're not going to have Alabama playing whoever, like some really small school or stuff like that. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, go. All right. I like that too, because most conferences, I think it's kind of funny. Most conferences play those cupcake games early in their season, but for some reason the SEC has them in like second to last week of the year. They're playing like the Citadel, and it's like, what are we doing here? Which I think if we, I think one cupcake game, maybe 2 to start the year is fine, but I think like usually we play three a year that are just like pointless. And I think, like Mike said, I think that would obviously help. You're not scared to play these, Bama's, LSU's, those teams.
Yeah, I agree. Now I know it's going to come down to a money thing again, because I know, like, for the Badgers to bring in the Bowling Green to play, they pay Bowling Green millions of dollars to come and play. And I know, like, that helps Bowling Green to run their program. But again, you got to put all that stuff aside to do what's best for the sport. And I think that's eliminating a couple pointless games at the beginning of the season to add on more important games towards the end, and a team could argue, well, we're not going to be in the playoffs, we need those games. Well, then be better. That gives you incentive to recruit better, to hire better coach, so that way you are in the playoffs. That's what we're always going for anyways. It's not to play that one game against the Badgers at the beginning of the year and get smoked by 70, So I've always thought that those games at the beginning of the year, one as a tune-up, okay, great.
Yeah, exactly.
But 3 or 4 of them, like,
you know what?
come on.
You know what Alabama does? They play Austin Payee in the middle of the season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I don't get it.
And here,
I don't get it.
I don't think we tweeted or put this on Facebook, but Badgers schedule next year: Illinois State, Washington State, New Mexico State. And we're at Ohio State, home against Illinois. Yeah, then it's Big Ten. Then it's at Northwestern, at Michigan State.
Illinois sucks.
Purdue, Maryland, at Iowa, at Nebraska, and then home against Minnesota.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. But I want to touch on his other question here. So he asked, what's our record if Rodgers retires? And I'll lead with this first, I guess.
So we're assuming Love's the quarterback, right? With this?
Yeah, I think so.
Correct. I just think there's so much unknown because if Rodgers retires, I don't see Adams coming back.
No.
We have so many guys right now that we need to sign. We're already pressed up. Like even with Rodgers retiring, it doesn't. I mean, it does help a little bit with our cap situation, I believe, but we still have so many holes that we need to fill. I don't think
for
it's good.
For the sake of the question, let's say Rodgers is gone, Devontae's gone. We get mostly everyone else back.
Okay.
500.
And Tanyan's going to be out for probably the whole year.
Not even
with his ACL.
We still got a free agency to go through, and when you lose Rodgers and Adams, that frees up almost $50 million to spend.
That's true.
Here's my line of thinking.
I'm
thinking with this.
Go Jay Green, and then I'm going to give you my prediction.
Yeah. So if I say we're going to be 4-14, and then they end up being 500, it's like, oh my god, they exceeded my expectations. Like, oh my.
Set the bar low is what you're saying.
Right. And that way I can't be disappointed because I've already told myself, well, they're going to be this anyway. But no, I mean, realistically, I would say not better than 500. No.
Yeah, agreed.
I think 10-7.
Wow. Woo.
But what's your you're talking defense probably?
Defense I mean, we can't just we know Rodgers is the best, right? There's no denying that this year.
And we still have Dillon's and Jones.
But you have Dillon, Jones. You have an offseason of free agents where you're going to have a lot of money to actually play around with. Because if you think about it, you don't sign Preston Smith. That frees up money. Rodgers is $30 million contract plus. Bye-bye. Adams, $15 million plus. Bye-bye. And that's not even including anybody else in there. Zadarius Smith if we release him or whatever. So you put together the pieces, you solidify the receiving core, you add a little bit more depth to the defensive line. We still got a draft to go through. We get some young athletic tight end in the draft, let's say, and Love is going to have some learning curves. I'm not going to say Love is the next Aaron Rodgers, but we don't know that he isn't. We saw one game, but let's be honest. Look at Rodgers' first year. Yeah. He wasn't a stud. He was good. He was a top 15, but he wasn't a stud, right? And it took time. And Love is learning under Rodgers now for 2 seasons. And I just look at the fact that our defense is solid. We have the best head football coach in all of the NFL right now, right? We can't argue with what our GM has done, right? So, not to mention you get to play the Lions twice and the Bears twice.
That's true.
So that's 4 wins. Now you just got to scrape another 6 across, and there's the 10 wins.
What do you think, Craig?
I don't know.
What's your
the crazy thing too is like, let's just say if Love is the QB, teams are going to do what Kansas City does until he can beat that. They will send the house, I think, until he can consistently.
And they should.
That. And they should. I would. I would agree.
And then he's going to start torching.
Yeah, and then you'll find out. Yeah,
Mike.
I don't know. I'm now that more that we're talking here, I'm kind of leaning more Chris's.
Week 4, you guys are all going to be
10 wins would sound good. I think
week 4, you guys are all going to be rocking.
Yeah, it certainly sounds.
Hey, come week 4 next season, you guys are all going to be rocking number 10 jerseys. You're going to order them from that DH Gate or whatever Jay Green's website is.
I'm not hating. It's not I think it's not hate on literally we don't know what we have yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's too many question marks with the offseason. I think if we have this discussion, let's say he did retire, but we have this discussion after the draft and after free agency has gone through, I think we could have a lot better idea. But
my dad messaged me and just said, bring Russell Wilson in. So that's an option too.
I can tell you right now, I'm getting pretty sick and tired of being out here in Colorado and hearing that Hackett comes to be the head coach. That means Rodgers is coming with. Jesus. I hear it every day. Every day. That's all I hear.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got a feeling we're going to be this offseason is going to be absolutely
let's just worry about the playoffs.
Exactly.
It is going to be bananas, yeah.
We got plenty of time to wait. It's an off week, Matt. We can kind of relax a little bit. We relax this week because we know next week we're going to be at the edge of our seats. Probably a few beers deep watching the games as well, but
speaking of that,
the next 3 games.
Speaking of that,
3 wins.
What is
all
going
we
to be your guys' ritual or good luck? Like how are you going to set up preparing for that game? Are you doing your favorite? Are you doing your favorite appetizer? Are you sitting in your favorite chair? Like, walk me through it. Walk me through it, boys.
It's Matt's wife Sarah's buffalo chicken dip, 100% next week.
So I actually get. I actually
think really good buffalo chicken dip. Really good.
If that game is Saturday, I think
it's Sunday. I think it's already Sunday.
Is it?
I think all one seeds are on Sunday because of the potential of playing a Monday night.
Do we know what time yet?
No. Last year we were the late game.
If it was Saturday, I believe I was going to be going to it, but if it's Sunday, I will not be. But if it's Sunday,
high roller. Got a little extra money to spend there, or what?
Matt, you have Mondays off, don't you?
Yeah, but Sarah doesn't. No, remember,
she
Mike?
Can sleep in the car.
Take me.
That I would go to a playoff game. But I'm a big order pizza guy. Order some pizza. Other than that,
like what? Domino's?
Domino's?
No.
Where do you sit, Matt? Are you a living room guy? Are you a basement guy?
I'm a living room guy in the rocking chair I have.
Okay, now here's been a debatable topic. Okay, we're going off script here, listeners, so I apologize, but I'm getting excited already for next week. Are you guys? I like to watch the game by myself, or are you? I like the environment of having like 5 or 6 fans around me.
I pace.
I'm a by myself, so I can, if I gotta drop some profanities, then that's fine.
Yeah,
What about you, Mike?
I don't really have a choice. It's watching it with Annette or the kids.
Well, yeah, but that's I get.
But
that.
I will say that it is very cool if you're at a bar and the whole bar is rooting for the same team.
Unless you start losing, and then it really
start
sucks.
Losing, then it gets really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my thing is last year during one of the Packers playoff games, we had some other people that were non-Packer fans there. And as soon as the Packers started losing, they weren't fans of the other team, but they were like cheering for the other team, knowing that I was a Packers fan. I went up and put myself in the bedroom. Yeah. I watched in the bedroom by myself. But I'm actually doing a hybrid next weekend, Matt. I'm doing some buffalo chicken dip and
ordering
pizza. Got it planned out,
pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut.
You already got it planned out?
Yeah. I've had 2 weeks to plan it.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what are you doing?
Dude,
beef? Watching it with beef?
Yeah, probably. My sister's birthday weekend next weekend, so we'll probably have to, we'll do a meal with her, and hopefully it's a late night game and get back. And no, man, I'll pace. Like, I'll get up, I'll walk around, and I'll be like, okay, I'll go turn on the TV upstairs, come back downstairs. My brother's watching it there, and Hey,
but here's the thing: wouldn't you think we'd be on Saturday though? Because that means tomorrow's game they would have to turn around and play Saturday. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I just thought I heard something that they were saying that the 1 seeds were automatically going to play on Sunday, but maybe not. Maybe that was just something, I don't know.
Because I feel like that Monday night game's got to throw a wrench in that. I don't know if they probably don't even have it ready yet, do they?
I don't know.
No, they don't. Yeah, you might be right, Matt.
Makes sense. I don't like it that way, but
yeah, you'd think. I don't know.
Well,
give them another day off.
Yeah, just so. Oh no. Oh yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah, it just says TBD.
Whatever. Okay. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
Well, final topic, since we kind of touched on Reesburg
sports.
But
Matt, the positive is if it's Sunday, the latest it would be the last game looks like it's at 5:40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They do like a 2.
Yeah.
So Sarah could be back for work.
That would be 4:40, I think, Chris.
No, I think it's mine's in Mountain Time. Mine's in Mountain Time, and mine says 4:40, so that'd be 5:40.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's like a 2:30, 5:40, if I remember right, or 2:15 maybe.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon, and we'll post it on Facebook. Matt will let everybody know if he's going to the game or not.
Yeah.
Final topic. We've already touched on Reedsburg sports a little bit, but
Yep.
I'm gonna have Matt explain this.
Yeah, have Matt explain
If
it.
he's, do you have the thing up still, Matt, or no?
What's
We
that?
gotta find this.
Your
You
pill
sent
question.
this week.
Oh, yeah. So I just got to make sure.
It's a good question for the podcast. It really is.
Okay, so there's 2 pills. There's a red pill and a blue pill. The red pill is, if you take the red pill, you will go back to the age of 6 years old with the knowledge you know now. Or the blue pill, you take it and you get, was it 10 million or 13 million?
10 million right away.
$10 million right now. Which one do you do?
Nice. I'd go back. I'm going to my little 6 or 7 year old self. Because like we said,
that would change like.
Yeah, it would be some Back to the Future stuff going on
Some
where, you know, you're going to be
hyper-vortex.
like, yeah, but listen, Jay Green made a great point. One, that 10 million would be made back times 100 million by one, investing in sanitary wipes and toilet paper right before COVID hits. You could invest in Tesla or Bitcoin or any of that stuff. And
Rosh will be 10 years old trying to explain to everyone
Yeah.
what Bitcoin is.
Yeah. And we don't even have cell phones yet, but here's what Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
No, I just think it'd be fun to go back, one, because I really enjoyed my time in Reedsburg and Whitewater and high school and all that stuff. But
you're probably, if you have all that, like, you're like.
But more so, the reason is
it's going to be different. You're not like, you're going to go to Whitewater again.
I don't know, because you have new knowledge. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
That you don't know, but you could end up going down that same path because you know how you accomplish that same path. So you know how to live things the exact same way and how to meet the same people and where they're going to be.
What players are going to come in that championship game. You're going to go play for the other team.
Yeah, what are you?
18 interceptions.
You could be like, what's that dude's name in Back to the Future? Biff? His betting on sports?
Hey, real quick here. Let it
God,
look at Uncle Dean's comment.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
that's hilarious. That's good.
For anybody who doesn't, I mean, Dean has one hand, and he makes. I mean, he made the joke that he wants to gain a hand so he can go back.
But then what'd you change it? Because me and Jay Green both said go back, and then you changed it to what?
And I changed it to back 10 years and then back 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's where it starts to get a little fishy then, because I want that 10 million probably if I'm 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Mike? 5 years ago.
That would just like change like. I would take the 10. I would take the 10 million, man. I don't think I would change. I don't think I would.
I would still go back 5, change some stuff up, invest in Pfizer, invest in Charmin, and you're going to make 10 million plus right there.
Invest in Charmin. Yeah.
Invest in DoorDash. I'll tell you what, those companies, you're making over 10 mil just like that. Bingo, bango.
You know how many lives you could save too?
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That too, I guess.
I gotta
go off sentimental.
I got another question for you guys, and I believe this might be a gender thing.
Okay.
But we'll see what you guys answer. When you guys are sitting on the toilet.
Oh God, here we go again.
We're back to the.
Here we go.
Our toilet talk again.
Are you talking about over under with the paper?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you take your shorts or pants and take them all the way to the floor or to your knees?
Ankles all day, all the way down.
Mike, Jay Green?
I don't even know.
Sometimes I just take it off.
I would say I'm So you go to, if you got to go to like Quick Trip, you just take
not like that.
No, anywhere. Oh, you're talking to Jay Green.
Oh, ankles.
Okay, so now anyone that's listening, or you guys, or ask anybody, now ask a female what they do.
Why?
And if there's any females listening, supposedly they are more to the knees.
There's a net nearby, Mike?
No. I'll ask her when we get
Don't say anything and just ask them and see what they say.
Yeah.
No, I will say though, if I'm in a
But I got a small sample
if
size.
I'm in a public restroom and it's an emergency, my pants ain't touching the floor, so they'll hover a little bit then. Oh, Dean's a knees guy.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
a knees guy. Yeah. Interesting.
All right.
Good
Well,
question, Matt.
Thanks.
See, I thought
That's
you were gonna ask the question because this is debatable too. Do you like the toilet paper coming over the top or
That's me.
underneath when you put it back? And I'm an
I
over the top
thought-
guy all the
There's a-
time, but Alexis always puts it underneath.
I was wondering if-
I don't know anybody that's an under.
A
didn't know
lot
if
of
you guys were
public
gonna go,
places,
like,
a lot
how
of
many-
public places
How many
go
pieces
under.
of paper?
Because
do you
if you're
use?
under, you're touching it first, typically. Like if it's caught underneath of it, or if it's over, you can just.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
A lot of public places, though, I've noticed are under. I don't know if it's the way the toilet paper dispenser is constructed, but
What about wet wipes?
dude wipes, aren't they? Is that
Dude
what they're called,
We're
Jake?
still waiting for a sponsor from Dude Wipes
Yeah,
on
we
this
still
show.
need
as
dude
well.
wipes. Yeah.
Well, what an ending to the show again. So we
Toilet talk.
appreciate it. Toilet talk again. We have to make this a weekly thing. Toilet talk with Matt.
I like it.
Anyway,
Hey,
Whoa,
wasn't toilet talk something that we had at Reedsburg? In the
Yeah.
bathrooms, did they
Yeah,
put toilet talk right above the stalls where you could read when you're going to the bathroom?
I believe
Yeah, that
so.
doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
it's a little sad.
yeah.
well, that's gonna do it for this week. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Shout out to the Reesburg Utility for getting us on Channel 11 Reesburg Cable. Thanks to
And
David.
isn't there a radio auction coming up here soon?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
We'll
remember
get
the
some
date.
stuff out.
Yeah,
on
we'll
our social
post some of
media
that on our
stuff.
social media about it
Yeah.
because I know there's a interesting dilemma that's happening with it with some delay. So we'll make
Okay.
sure we
Also,
communicate all that out.
one last thing. We don't really talk too much politics. I don't even know when this is, but we had him on the show, Mayor Dave, running for mayor once again this year. Does anybody know when that election takes place?
Nope. Honestly, I have no clue.
Couldn't tell you.
I just saw.
Assume no.
something
Is
on,
it? Wouldn't it be in the fall like it always
April or
is?
November, right?
Yeah, that's what I would guess. Is April or November.
Okay. Yeah, we have to talk to him still about getting
Yeah, we got to get the
some wrestling at Waterfest
give
this
him
year.
help. Yep.
So, everybody, give us a like. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on TikTok as well. We come to you live, Reesburg 11 Cable, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're on YouTube as well. So appreciate everybody, and go Pack Go. We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care, everybody.
See ya.